What's going on, YouTube? We back again with another video. 392 Blurred Lines coming at you. Welcome to the channel. Today, what I'm going to be doing, I'm going to be putting on an oil pump, pickup tube, possibly the timing cover, oil pan, engine plate, and water pump. Sounds like a lot, but I don't know if we're gonna get all done today or not. But what I am gonna start with, the oil pump. We're gonna get this oil pump put on. I just had to make a run the lanes to get a pickup tube. I had one, but well, I didn't want to clean it. It was one that came with the oil pan, and I didn't want to clean it. I saw particles falling out of it. Just said, you know what? I said, I'm putting all new stuff in this motor. I'm not gonna put something I gotta clean into it. So I went out and went the lanes, and I picked up a new one. So you can see I haven't even opened it up yet. And for anybody who needs the information as to what pickup tube to use, this is a truck oil pan. I had to use a truck oil pan because I needed one that's deeper so that I can get the oil away from the crank. I'm not putting a windage tray in it. I don't feel that I'm going to need one. As long as I got a deep oil pan, it's going to keep the oil down low enough to stay out of the crank. I'm good. So, you know, I would have put a windage tray on it, but in order to have done that, I would have then had to mount it to the main caps. And if you take a look at this, I had a lot of work to do in order, bear with me, in order to get these main caps and this girdle right, because I had to have between 8 and 10,000, straighten you out here, because I had to have between 8 and 10,000 between the girdle and the main caps, and also had to have the studs just above the nuts. So what would end up happening? I would have had to go back and change the height of the studs to compensate for that windage tray. I said, I'm not doing that. I'm not gonna worry about it. It's gonna be fine. I don't feel that it's going to take from the engine as far as horsepower because of a little bit of oil getting on the crank. I'm not gonna worry about that. The girdle itself also works as a way of keeping the oil off of the crank. So knowing that it's designed that way anyway, I'm not gonna worry too much about a little bit of oil getting on that. It need to get on a little bit anyway to help lubricate it. So we're not gonna worry about that. But what we are gonna do, we are going to get my oil pump mounted, torqued down, and as I was saying, I just picked up a pickup tube. See, sidetracked already. Pickup tube that I had to get is for a pickup truck because of the deepness in the oil pan. And the part number for that is going to be MEL, which is for milling, 72-S5. That is what you need for a pickup truck oil pan. The other one is real short. It never reached the oil. So anybody who need to know what that number is, the number is, for this particular one, it's 72 S5. As you can see, it does have a little bit of a neck on it, a little length to it. In order for it to reach down in the bottom of that pan. But we did decide to go with a new one. I wasn't going to take the old one and clean it up. I wasn't doing it. Let me show you what it looked like. You got a screen down inside here. I did not feel like trying to clean this thing out when they're only 17 bucks. Man, forget all that. We're gonna just put a new one on and keep it moving. I got too much wrapped up into this than to put some dirty junk on it. Not doing it. So, that's the plan for today. We'll see if we can't get this put on here, get it mounted, get it torqued down, keep it moving. Now, as far as this, I'm wondering, I guess I don't have to put anything on it, but I probably should put a little anti-seize on it. Just a little bit of anti-seize, just so that it doesn't try to vibrate loose. Of course, it can't spin nowhere down in that oil pump, down that oil pan. It's not going to spin nowhere, but I want it to remain stationary. So maybe I will put a little bit of anti-seize on that. Maybe I'll read up on that real quick and find out as to whether or not I should put something on that. So, while I do that, I'm gonna shut it down and I'll come right back. But I am gonna look this up and find out as to whether or not I should put some anti-seize on these threads or just tighten it down as much as I can, hand tightening it. I'll get back with you guys. Stick with me. As I always say, stick with me and we'll get through this together. All right, peace out. All right, we back. As far as putting something on these threads for this oil pump, I am gonna put some of the thread locker orange, which will allow me to take it back loose if need be. But the thread locker orange is not as strong as the red. The red, when you put that on, you want them to stick. You want them to stay. But what this will do, it will keep it from vibrating loose. So we will put a little bit of thread locker orange on the threads of the pickup tube before putting it into the oil pump. So we're definitely going to put some thread locker on that. Now, like I said, it's just to keep it from vibrating loose. Don't have to put a whole lot. Go to tightening that up inside of that pump. Those threads on threads. Let it do its job. pump on it. Yes, like so. I can live with that. Looks pretty level. Okay. Like so. So now we'll put a little bit of, I'm gonna put a little bit of gasket shellac on this mating surface here. It specifies use a little bit of grease to hold the gasket in place, but I'm just gonna put a little bit of gasket shellac itself on this mating surface. I like to use that Permatex gasket shellac compound. Works very well. It's not real thick. Works very well. So we'll put a little bit of that on that mating surface just to hold the gasket in place. Specifies do not use a sealant because you don't want to clog up your pump in no way, shape, or form. So I'm going to use a little bit of this gasket shellac. Not a whole lot, just a little bit. What's going on with you? What are you taking out to?
What up, peeps? Hello.
Give them a shout out.
Shout out. If you're not following me on YouTube, Ashley Pompey, Poshmark, Ashley Pompey, Instagram, Poppy Ashley. About to go to dinner. Well, go to praise team rehearsal and then dinner. But I'm about to go up there now so I can do the list.
I forgot about
for the ministers. So you want everything the same? You like this?
Yeah, I want everything exactly like it was. Just change the dates.
You want to add the one?
No. Until I'm given the order to do so, and until I'm given that.
Okay.
And if I'm asked how come I haven't, it's because I'm waiting for that information to be dispensed unto me.
How do I look?
Look fine. Look good. Enjoy yourself.
Yes, going to Koto. Going to have some delicious hibachi Asian food. And shout out to Blurred Lines, $3.92 Blurred Lines.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed.
All right, love you.
Love you.
Like
Let's see what you got on.
Comment below, do you like these shoes?
I don't know if I like them too much.
Why? I haven't worn them yet.
I just don't know if I like them too much. It just ain't my style. Hey.
What about the gold sequin skirt? Yes. All right, bye.
Bye. Have fun.
No.
To all your friends, I said hello.
Will do.
Alright, so we got our gasket shellac on there. And gasket shellac, it more or less just holds a gasket in place too. Notice. They could have made a gasket that fits a little bit better, but they did the best they could do, I guess. It wants to, it's not flat, the gasket's not flat, but it's gonna be fine for what I'm gonna do with it. Just to hold it in place till I get these bolts down in it. That's all. Just to hold it in place. You definitely want to make sure that you put that down in there straight. Don't want no issues, don't want no problems. All right. bolts I'll be using, they are definitely going to be the ARP. We try to use the best in the best. So we're going to be using these ARP bolts, and it specifies to torque them down at 30 foot-pounds. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to torque them down at 30 foot-pounds. As we torque these down, we're gonna creep up on that 30 foot-pounds. We're not just gonna go straight to 30 foot-pounds. We're gonna creep up on it. All right. I'm gonna start out at 20. I'm gonna take it up to 25. Take it on up, 30. You want to call that good? Now that's what small block book, how to build your small block Mopar. That's what it specifies. It says to torque down, install the oil pump mounting bolts, and torque them 30 foot-pounds. Okay, that's what it says in the book. Now I printed this out, called Big Block Mopar. Mopar bolt torque specifications for small block. I printed this out just the other day, and it specifies oil pump to block bolt 35. So, this being a little bit more up to date, I'm gonna go with this. So I'm gonna take them at 35. So let's creep it on up. I'll go up to 32. Now I'm gonna go straight to 35. Enough. All right, so we have our oil pump on, we have our pickup tube on. Now, I believe I'm going to put the timing cover on before I put the oil pan on, because when I put the oil pan on, it has an area that's going to require a seal, a gasket here, and I will be putting sealant here, but I would like to have the oil, I would like to have the timing cover in place first. So we're going to spin this engine back around so that we can mount on our timing cover. I didn't even get a chance to see how this was going to look on there yet. So let me take a look and see how that color is going to look, to see if that's the color I'm going to stick with. Now already I'm sensing something here. I'm sensing, I'm feeling that pickup tube is touching the inside of this pan. It is definitely touching the inside of this pan. So let's see what we got going on here. Look at this area. Is there any difference in the length? Same length. It is the same length. So maybe you have to turn it a little bit more. That's what it was. Just had to turn it just a little bit more to get the clearance that was needed. And that's exactly what it needed. Right. Let me turn a hair more. Just a hair more. That's it. Sits flat now. All right, tell me what you think. How's that color look to you? See how you think about that color there, that pan? That don't look too bad. Cast iron gray block with a cast coat aluminum pan. I don't think that looks too bad. Maybe I'll keep it that color. No, ain't no maybe to it. I'm gonna keep it that color. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna rotate this engine around, see if I can't get this timing cover put on. And we're gonna just keep it moving. Spin on me while I'm messing with it. Okay. You can see I have my oil slinger. Definitely need an oil slinger. And I ordered a set of bolts for the timing cover, as well as the, hold on, Eric's calling. All right, YouTube, we back again. I was on the phone, Brother Pomp, and got ready to, matter of fact, we was talking about this timing cover, and I was putting it up on here to see about its fitment. And as I began to do that, because what he did is he put it on because he couldn't put all his bolts in because he didn't have his water pump. But I do have my water pump, but when I put my water pump on, my engine plate's gonna go on as well. And as I was putting this up here, to check the fitment, I noticed something. On this particular cover, you hear that? It's not sitting flat. It's not sitting flat. The reason it's not sitting flat is because of this chain tensioner. So this chain tensioner is touching the inside of this particular timing cover. So I picked up my other one. Fits perfectly. It's not touching. So this is the one I'll be using. So what that says, I gotta paint this thing. So now I'm dead in the water. I gotta paint this, and it's gotta dry. First I gotta prime it. It's gotta dry. I gotta paint it. It's definitely gotta dry. So it looks like I'm gonna come back at this tomorrow to get this on, to get the motor plate on, the engine plate, and to get the water pump. So for right now, I'm gonna cover this back up, push it out my way. I'm glad I already took this down and put it in the wheelabrator so I don't have to clean it. All I have to do is prime it, give it a little time, watch paint dry, and then I'll put some paint on it and call it a done deal. So that's what I got going on right now. Dead in the water. So let me go ahead, get this thing covered up. I guess I'll shut this video down because it's gonna be a whole nother day before I can come back to it. Well, not so much as a whole nother day, but it will be tomorrow when I come back to it. So I'm gonna shut this thing down. I'm gonna cover this thing up, shoot some primer on this, let it dry, shoot some paint on it. I'm gonna jump back in blurred lines and I'm gonna go cruising. I was in it earlier today. I'm gonna jump back in it. I'm going for a cruise. So, with all that being said, you know how I end all my videos? With all that being said, 392 Blurred Lines coming at you. Peace out.